If you were given a chance to be resurrected after death, would you be willing? Today, I want to share a story written by Zhuangzi, a story reflections on life and death, and how a death scroll answers this question. This story will be available in both English and Chinese, so you can skip to the relevant section. Zhuangzi lived roughly 2,300 years ago, and is one of Chinese renowned philosophers. His stories are difficult to understand yet fascinating, so I wanna explore and understand them together with you. Zhuangzi was traveling to the state of Chu when he came across an empty skull on the road. He tapped the skull with his horsewipe and asked, "Did you die because you were too greedy, asked against your conscience, and suffered retribution, or because your country pursued and you were killed by the Axis, or because you did evil deeds, felt ashamed before your parents, wife, and children, and took your own life, or because of natural disaster and man-made misfortunes, dying of cold and hunger, or did you die a natural death at the end of your lifespan?" Each guess Zhuangzi put forward was like a label that the living hung on death, saying horizon in tragedy, shame, misery, fulfillment. It was his way of trying to make sense of death as a live person. The skull didn't respond to Zhuangzi after asking these questions. Zhuangzi wanted to sleep, so he used the skull as a pillow and fall asleep. In the middle of the night, the skull spoke to Zhuangzi in a dream. "You should like a skilled debater, but all the reasons for this you mentioned are worries for the living. Once dead, there are none of these. Did you want to hear what it is like after death?" Zhuangzi said, "Yes." The skull replied, "After death, one is not ruled by a king, nor governed by officials. There is no toils through the 4 seasons. One exists between heaven and earth, sharing the longevity of the heaven and earth. Even the joy of being a king couldn't compare to death." Zhuangzi didn't believe it and said, "If I ask the God in charge of life and death restore your physical form, give you flesh, bones, and skin, and send you back to your parents, wife, children, neighborhoods, and friends, would you be willing?" This exchange was equivalent to offering the most precious things in the human world to the skull, and yet these precious things also bring worries, pains, and anxieties. He wanted to see if the skull was truly resolute. Upon hearing this, the skull furrowed its brows deeply. How could a skull have the brows? Then the skull said anxiously, "How I could abandon join the suspenses, even being a king, only to endure the toll of the human world again." This story is over. What are your thoughts? I will share some of the insights into the story in the comment section, hoping it will be insightful for all of you. 庄子去楚国看到一个空骷髅，他用马鞭敲骷髅，问道：“你是因为太过贪心，做了违背良心的事，遭报应而死呢？还是国家灭亡，被斧子砍死的？还是做了坏事，愧对妻儿、孩子，自杀而死？还是因为天灾人祸， 冻饿而死，或是寿终正寝自然死亡的。庄子每抛出一个猜测，都像是活人挂在死亡身上的标签：罪孽、悲壮、耻辱、悲惨、圆满。这是他作为活的人去理解死亡的方式。骷髅没有回答庄子的问题，庄子问完这些问题就想要睡觉，拿着骷髅当枕头睡着了。半夜，骷髅在梦里对庄子说：听你说话像是一个很会辩论的人，不过你所说的那些死的原因都是活人的忧患，死了就没有这些忧患了。你想听听死后的情形吗？庄子说：好。骷髅说：死后不用受到君王的统治，不用受到官吏的管辖，没有了四季的劳作，自由自在存在于天地间，与天地同寿同游，即使是称王的快乐，也比不上死后。庄子不信，说：我能让掌管生死的神去恢复你的形体、骨肉和肌肤，把你送回到父母、妻儿、邻居、朋友的身边，你会愿意吗？这样的交换相当于拿人世间最珍贵的东西和骷髅交换。当然，这些珍贵的东西也会包含痛苦、烦恼和忧患。他想要看看骷髅是否真的坚定。骷髅听了，深深地皱起眉头。骷髅不应该有眉头，正常来说，这可能是想要说明骷髅是真心的在抗拒复活的这个说法。然后骷髅忧虑地说：我怎么能抛弃比得过称王的快乐，再去忍受人间的劳苦呢？好的，故事到这里就结束了。觉得有一些深奥很难懂，不知道你们有什么想法？我会在评论区放一些关于这个故事的感想，希望对你们有帮助。拜拜。